Welcome back. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend out there. This will be my final video, maybe before the first race at Las Vegas on Thursday of next week. Today I'm going to be trying to predict the finishing order in the point standings for the 2025 season with Kubota High Limit Racing. We've got 14 full-time drivers as of right now, and so I'm going to go through here, start at the bottom, make my way to the front here, and do my best to try and predict who I think is going to finish where in the points. I did do this last year, got relatively close, did it for the Outlaws this year as well. And before I get going, I did want to mention that, you know, if I put a guy in 14th or 11th or 9th or something, it's not like I think these guys are not good race car drivers, that they suck or anything like that. This is just me trying to, in my opinion, put where I think they will end up in the point standings. For some of these guys, it's their first year on the road, and I feel like you really cannot expect a whole lot from guys in their first ever year on a national sprint car tour. And so, I just want to get that out there. This is a video for entertainment purposes only. I'm just trying to have some fun here on the channel and make a video that I think people will be interested in. And like I said, I did do this last year. I didn't do the whole field. I only did the top 10, but a lot of people wanted me to do the full field, so I will be doing that this year. So we'll start at number 14, who I think will end up 14th in points this year with High Limit Racing. It's going to be, in my opinion, Brenham Crouch in the CJB Motorsports number 5. Brenham, the youngest driver on the High Limit Racing Tour this year at 19 years old, moving into just his third year as a 410 sprint car driver and his second year full-time. And so a new team as well, which you got to take into account with this driver. And so I think Brenham Crouch in 3 or 4 years, once he gets a little bit more experience, and all that kind of stuff, and gets more seat time with this CJB Motorsports car, I think he's going to be a guy that is contending for top 10s and top 5s on a regular basis. But right now, he's still, very, very young. He's only 19 years old, still trying to figure it all out. And along with a new pairing, I think it's going to take these guys a little bit of time to maybe get used to each other. But, he's got a lot of really, really good guys in his corner with Barry Jackson and Paul McMahon as a driver coach. So with those things in mind, I think there's going to be a couple of moments this year for Brenham Crouch where he kind of turns some heads and whatnot. But for me, I think overall the consistency and everything, I think I'm going to put him in 14th as of right now. Now, I did want to mention this as well. From 14th to 11th, I am dead serious when I said I could see any of these guys in any particular order. This was the hardest part of the board for me, these first 4 guys, to figure out where they were going to be at. We'll move on to number 13, and I think make that 13th is going to be Cy Lynch. So Cy Lynch last year had a couple of really good runs with High Limit Racing, a couple second place finishes, led a couple of laps at different racetracks and things like that. But this is also his first ever year racing at this level. Last year, he ran, 45 races, and I think 39 of them were all with either High Limit or the Outlaws. So he does know the pace that it takes to race at this level, but, he's never done this type of thing before. All of the traveling he's going to be doing, there's going to be a lot of curveballs thrown at Cy Lynch this year. And so I'm going to put him down in 13th. Would I be shocked if he ran 11th or 10th? Absolutely not. But right now, I'm going to go with him at 13th position. We haven't even seen him race yet so far this year. His first race is going to be Las Vegas. He posted his new wrap yesterday or the day before. Car looks absolutely badass. You will not be able to miss it on the racetrack. Cy Lynch, I'm going to put him in 13th. And with that, another one of our rookies, I'm going to put Danny Sams at 12th position. A lot of the same reasons for Cy Lynch. I mean, this is his first time ever doing this. A lot of curveballs going to be thrown at this driver and this team. And like I said in his season preview, I think there's going to be a lot of moments this year for Danny Sams where you're like, wow, this guy is absolutely getting after it. He's going to have a lot of good runs. But that consistency going up and down the road, banging around from track to track, you have a bad night, you're going to have to brush it off and get right back to it the next night. That's a mindset that does take a while for some of these guys to develop. And so for Danny Sams, 12th place for me. Like I said with Cy Lynch, he could end up 9th or 10th. I honestly think that's the case. With all these guys kind of towards the back half of the field, it's so hard to predict what you're going to see from them. But for Danny Sams, I'm just going to go with 12th for now. And hopefully all these guys prove me wrong and they make their way farther up this leaderboard. Now, number 11 is going to be Dason Persley for me in the Buick Motorsports 13. Persley, we've seen how good he has been at driving different race cars in limited amount of time over the last couple of years, whether that's a midget, a Silver Crown car, a non-wing sprint car, even the wing sprint car he's shown. I mean, micros all that type of stuff. He adapts very, very quickly. He's got probably the best story out of anybody on the High Limit Tour with what he went through a couple of years ago. To make it back to this level and get this ride and be running at this level is absolutely incredible. A very, very inspiring story from Dason Persley. And I think that there's going to be quite a few moments this year where he's like running up front and having some good and decent runs there. But with his experience level, even compared to the guys that are below him here, he has less than 30 career 410 wing sprint car starts. And so I think it's going to be a big learning year. But I think that once they make it through this season, and, Persley secures a charter for Buick Motorsports, get that, what's the word I'm looking for? That security, I would say, for 2026. I think that's the year that these guys are really going to be in contention a whole lot more when Dason Persley gets a full season of 410 wing sprint car racing under his belt. But for this year, it's a learning year, trying to figure things out, build that notebook as a driver and as a team, and we'll see how they do. But I've got him 11th right now. And that makes our final rookie driver. I'm going to put Chase Randall in 10th position right there. In my opinion, he will be the rookie of the year. But like I said, I mean, from these guys, all 5 of these guys, they can be all swapped around. I honestly have no idea. You go back to Crouch. He ran this tour last year, so he's done it a lot more than some of the other guys that are on the board. So maybe that experience propels him up farther. But for right now, I'm going to put Chase Randall in 10th. Out of all the guys that we've had on here so far, out of all the rookies at least, he's the one that I believe has been the closest to winning big races, winning national touring races, whether that's with High Limit or the Outlaws. He was 2nd and 3rd in races last year with High Limit, and the Outlaws leading laps. Almost won the Tuscarora 50 a couple of years ago, has made the Knoxville Nationals main event as well. So Chase Randall, in my opinion, is going to be the rookie of the year. Would I be shocked if he ran 12th? No, but I'm going to go with 10th for now for the number 9 of Chase Randall. Now, moving up to the 9th position and the other number 9 car on tour, I'm going to put Casey Kane right there in 9th. Has a lot more experience than everybody behind him. Ran the tour last year as well. He's got that new crew chief with Eric Prutzman. He's got the multi-time championship tire specialist as well with Andrew Bowman. Watching last night at Talladega with the Outlaws, Casey Kane had a couple of really good moments. Went from like 5th or 4th to 2nd in the heat race. Slipped back, and I think he ran like 15th or something in the feature, but these guys are still trying to figure each other out. And so far, in limited starts with Eric Prutzman, Casey Kane has shown some really good flashes of speed. And once he puts it all together, I think he's going to be a guy that's contending in the top 10 way more than he was last year. And for me, I'm going to put him in 9th. I think he's going to secure that charter, the second one for Casey Kane Racing, and that'll lock up the future for that team when Casey decides to retire in 5, 6, whatever years it is. He can find another driver for the 9 car and put somebody in it. And the future of KKR would look very, very good if that was the case. We'll move up to number 8 now, who I think is going to run 8th in points. And that's going to be Tanner Thorson, in my opinion. Thorson, last year had a lot of moments where it was like, wow, I mean, he is really, really defying the expectations. That win at Silver Dollar Speedway, the second place run, the first race out at East Bay, couple of podiums here and there, leading some laps at places you didn't expect him to do it at. Tanner Thorson, with 1 year in the books with this team, they know what to expect, and I really do think this is going to be a good year for Tanner Thorson. I think at least 1 win, maybe 2 wins. Silver Dollar, he's obviously going to be a factor. He led laps at Skagit. He led laps at Lucas Oil. So I think Tanner Thorson's a guy that is going to turn a lot of heads. A lot of people don't seem to like him in the comment section for some of the videos I've made. But Tanner Thorson at number 8 in points this year. And if he can get a charter for Rod Gross Motorsports, that would be absolutely monumental as well for them. So give me Tanner Thorson at number 8. I am very excited to see how the season goes for him. Now, number 7 on my list, and I think he's going to break out of this curse of running 8th in points every single year, and it's going to be Spencer Baston. He has shown some pretty damn good speed so far in that Jason Myers Racing 14. At the end of 2025, I was a little bit worried. I was like, man, this doesn't look very good. But so far with the Outlaws of Volusia, had a 6th place run. Last night made the dash with the Outlaws at Talladega, and I think ran in the top 10 as well. Spencer Baston, I mean, in the very short amount of time he's been with this car and this crew chief, he has shown some pretty good speed. So I think that the more these guys learn each other, the more seat time he gets in that KPC chassis, the better it's going to be for Spencer Baston. And after watching him these first couple of races, I really do think he's going to have a solid year and one where he gets back to victory lane on the national stage. Now, number 6 on my list is going to be Justin Peck. In the Routine Racing number 26, I am a little bit worried, however, after the bike week races at Volusia for this team, did not make the show one night and got in a wreck the other night running towards the back end of the field. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket for 2 races. But then at the same time, I mean, he looked really, really good at Dirt Car Nationals, looked very good at Charlotte last year. But these guys, they've got still some work to cut out for them as well. So I think it's going to be a good year for Justin Peck. I think he's going to win multiple races, not just one like last year. But those 2 races at Bike Week did scare me a little bit. Volusia is its own animal. I think that Peck's going to be much better on the smaller racetracks as well. So I'm going to put him at P6. Would not be shocked, though, if he ended up in the top 5. And with that being said, we'll move into the top 5. And who I think will run 5th 2 years in a row is going to be Brent Marks in the 19. So Brent Marks, last night at Talladega, it was an okay run, 11th place. I thought he was going to be up there in the top 10, missed it by a couple of positions. The track did take rubber towards the end. But Brent Marks, you can always count on him for a handful of races each year. Last year, he got 3. I think he's going to bump that number up quite a bit, especially on like the 410s, half miles, kind of the bigger racetracks. That is more Brent Marks style. And so 5th place for him this year in the point standings, I think is a given, at least for me, somewhere inside the top 5. But in my opinion, I think he will end up 5th overall. And he's already got a charter for next year, so does not need to worry about that. And we'll see how it goes for Brent Marks when we get to Las Vegas Motor Speedway next Thursday and Saturday night for the 19 car. Now, moving up to 4th, and this one might surprise a couple of people, but I like to make bold predictions every now and again. Even though sometimes they don't ever work out, it's still fun. This is an entertainment video. So for me, I'm going to put Rico at number 4. Last year was 3rd in points, missed it by 1 for 2nd in points. But this year, I think the 3 guys ahead of him, they have all done way, way, way more point racing than he has ever done in his career. Last year was obviously a very good one for his first time on the national tour, but he was 298 points behind Brad Sweet at the end of the season. And I think that does come with, not point racing before. I mean, I feel like that's a different type of racing than he's used to. He's done it before now, but I think the 3 guys ahead of them, they have way more experience at racing that way. Turning a car that's 12th into an 8th place finish, or making sure they don't get themselves in bad spots. So I'm going to put Rico at 4th. I feel like these 4 or 5 back here and these 4 right here are very, very close, at least in my opinion. The rest of them, I think, were kind of easy, but these top 4 guys are very tough. Rico, I think he could probably win the championship, but I'm going to put him at number 4. This video is for fun, and we'll see how close I can be at the end of the season. Now, number 3, and maybe that's where people thought Rico was going to be, but I'm going to put Aaron Reitzel at number 3. He has gotten off to a hot start. He's only ran 2 races, I know, but I think that those 2 races were very, very impressive. I mean, he ran, 2nd the first night at Volusia during Bike Week. The second night, he brought down the backup car and the backup engine and still ran in the top 10. It was a very good run. And so I think that Aaron Reitzel is going to be a guy that is up there contending maybe for the championship if things go his way. He's won the All-Star Championship 3 times. When he ran with the Outlaws, he had 4 wins before the suspension came in. And so Aaron Reitzel, I think he's going to be a top 3 guy in the point standings this year with High Limit Racing. That might be a bold take. Maybe it's not. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But we'll move on to 1st and 2nd. And in my opinion, winning the High Limit Racing Championship in 2025 is going to be... Drum roll. Is that the drum roll? No. That is Tyler Courtney. And that means Brad Sweet will end up in 2nd. But for me, I'm going to put Sunshine at P1 just to be a little bit different. Brad Sweet obviously is going to be the odds-on favorite to win this thing. Tyler Courtney, though, for the first, 15 races, maybe 20 races of the year last year, was either in front of Brad Sweet in the championship or he was very, very close. So I think that if he can maintain that speed that we saw at the beginning of last year and then at the end of last year and have a better West Coast swing than he did in 2024, I think Tyler Courtney could definitely win this championship over Brad Sweet this year. And in the dominance, David versus Goliath, And David in this situation is going to be Tyler Courtney. Goliath is obviously Brad Sweet. So give me Tyler Courtney for the 2025 High Limit Racing Championship. Definitely a bold prediction to do that. But you know, this video is for fun, and that's what we're here to do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on my picks. Let me know your picks in the comment section below. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and we will talk to you guys again soon. I'm not sure when the next video will be. I am flying out to Vegas on Monday and going to be out on the road for like 2 weeks. I will be bringing the mini whiteboard along with me to maybe have any breaking news and things like that, but I'm not really sure when that's going to be. So thank you all very much for your support. High Limit Racing starts next week, kicking off the second season. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching. Talk to you again soon.